Hey, honey, hey, friends and neighbors. Scott is here, and I got my new digital pH testing device, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. I went back to retest a lot of the samples from the previous video to get a more accurate result, and the results have been interesting. Let's start with tap water. One thing that I found with the tap water is that it fluctuated slightly. Whether that was, I tested it multiple times, at different times throughout the day. Now, whether that has to do with temperature, although I think the meter has a thermometer that's supposed to compensate for that, or maybe it has to do with how long the water's been sitting in the pipe, or something. Something's going on that causes a zero point 0.4 variation. Those were the extremes. Most of the time when I tested it, it was around 7.5, so we're going to call that our sort of baseline for my tap water here and for the other experiments. Now, you remember from before that when I boiled the tap water, it made it more alkaline because it causes it to release gases, but not evenly, and it ends up with an alkaline charge to it. I believe, is it a negative charge? Oh, I'm going to flip-flop that. Anyway, it makes it alkaline. So when it's uncovered, it goes up about a point of alkalinity to 8.5. If I seal it, though, so that it can't interact with the air, and I put it in an airtight bottle and let it cool down, it was 9.06, which is a pretty significant change. Remember that the pH scale is logarithmic, so every point that you go up is 10 times more alkaline than the last number, or when you go down below 7, every point you go down is 10 times more acidic. So that's nice. I know that you can buy bottled water that is more alkaline than this, but I'm really not a fan of trying to brute force your way back to alkalinity. You can be too alkaline, just like we're generally too acidic, which is why we want more alkaline, just because of the natures of our lifestyle, our diet, the stress level, things like that. But you can be too alkaline and be unhealthy too. I think making small adjustments is probably healthier. I'm not a doctor. You don't have to listen to me. Also, when I eat a meal, I want my stomach to be acidic. So I've boiled my own water. Now, ever since doing this, I've been boiling my own water to drink, and I will not drink my alkaline water with a meal. I'll drink some of my Alexa Pure filtered water, or just have another drink, because I don't want the alkalinity to neutralize my stomach acid, which can cause indigestion. It can contribute to heartburn because the food is sitting around in your stomach, not being digested, and your what is that, esophageal sphincter muscle or something, and that's not the exact name. It gets weakened and the stomach acid can get through. So during a meal, you actually want acid. There's nothing wrong with drinking acidic drinks. If you want to drink a lemonade, if you want to have, whatever, that's okay. You just don't want it to sit on your teeth. That's what you don't want. So, yeah, during a meal, I don't worry about this. After the meal, I've been rinsing my mouth out with my alkaline water, and I might sip on that through the day, or a more neutral water. Okay, other waters. Our Alexa Pure filter made the water ever so slightly less alkaline, so it moved toward the um, well, it moved toward neutral. Really, 7.26. That's really that's just water at that point. Um, so this is the water that I might. I could have this with a meal. I would, just sip on it through the day. This would be absolutely fine. I did boil it, and I left it uncovered. I meant to leave it covered, but I forgot. And it alkalized it up to 8.41. And then we have great value bottled water at our house. Confessions of a environment destroying person. We do have some bottled water, and it tested out at 5.53, which gives me pause about me or letting the kids drink this. It's not that it's dangerous. It's just you don't want it on your teeth all day, and having me or having the kids or my wife sipping on that water through the day, you're just keeping that acidic water. Remember, at 6.5, according to these dentist, I went to this dentist's website, and I saw it somewhere else too. But at about 6.5, that's where your dentin starts to break down, which can be exposed at the gum line, or if you have some wearing spots in your teeth. And at about 5.5 is where enamel can start to break down. And again, nothing wrong with eating food that's below that point, just so long as it doesn't stay there. Because your enamel can soften and harden throughout the day. That's a thing it does. So just eating an acidic meal or drinking a bottle of this water, no big deal, but you want your mouth to return back to its regular pH so that the enamel can reharden and you don't have any real loss of enamel. And then boiled it shot way up to 8.39. Boiling just seems to be the easiest and best way to alkalize your water. I know you can buy the filters, and if you have an alkalizing filter and you love it, hey, you know what? Use that thing. Use it and be happy. It's a great thing. I'll just probably boil mine. I'm sure the filter is a lot faster than boiling water and waiting for it to cool. Okay, let's look at herbal teas. Remember, our baseline that we're looking at is 8.5 because that was the boiled water that had just been covered, like with a saucer on top of the water. So any of these that are above that, the tea actually is increasing the alkalinity of the water. Any of them that are below, the tea is making the water more acidic. Chamomile tea came in at 6.45, which kind of surprised me. I thought the teas, I was hoping before that the color change was on my pool test pH meter. I was hoping that the color indicator I was getting was going to be influenced by the color of the tea, but it looks to have been fairly accurate. Herbal teas, contrary to internet claims, are not all alkaline. Rosehip tea was 4.21, which actually makes sense. I mean, it has a lot of vitamin C, the ascorbic acid, right? And rosehip tea is very high in vitamin C, so it makes sense that it would be more acidic. Now, they may be alkalizing, and I'm going to do another video on that. Something that's an acid can have an alkalizing effect on your body. It doesn't have to be some kind of hand wavy magic. There are reasons, but that's for the other video. Sorry. Sleepy Time Vanilla was at 6.21. Peppermint was very slightly alkaline, more than the water. It was 8.61, so it made the water rise up. Now, weirdly enough, peppermint tea that was cold brewed, I just put the packet in room temperature water, and I let it diffuse. It was 6.81. Now, the room temperature water, the lowest pH I measured was 7.21, so peppermint tea that was cold brewed was acidifying to the water. It made it more pH. It lowered the pH. It made it more acidic. But peppermint tea that I brewed with the boiling water made the pH raise, not counting the pH raise I already got just from boiling the water. So that's weird. It means that the hot water and the cold water were bringing out different components from the peppermint leaves. The hot water might have been better at bringing out minerals, because minerals are kind of hard to get out, especially with a cold infusion. I'm not 100% sure. The hot water would have been better at pulling out essential oils. So that I can't tell you exactly why that happened, but I just thought it was neat. Nettle tea was 8.47. So nettle tea was still alkaline, because it did test alkaline on the other less accurate test, but its net effect was ever so slightly acidifying, 0.03. We could just chalk that up to some margin of error with me using the device. So basically, let's say that nettle tea has about no effect. And then I made one of my oat straw nourishing herbal infusions, where I boiled the water, poured it over a considerable amount of oat straw, and then left it sealed overnight to cool down. And it was pretty acidifying. It was a 6.05 compared to the boiled water that had been sealed was a 9.06. So there you go. Now let's get to the lemon water. We already know that lemon water left overnight does not somehow become alkaline. It was kind of disappointing, but it was also kind of expected. But I was wondering, even though it's still acidic in the morning, maybe it moved slightly more toward the alkaline side of the scale. Maybe it got a little less acidic. So I redid that test. And no, it didn't. At the start, it was 4.38. And then 12 hours later, it was 3.52. So with the lemon juice having time to gradually diffuse through the water, it just made it more acidic. And I followed the instructions from the internet. It was just like the other test where I sliced the lemon. I did not squeeze it. I just set it in the water, didn't even stir it, except for you do a little stirring with the pH meter. That's all. And then I went back and retested water with a drop of Young Living lemon essential oil, and it made the water 0.01 more alkaline than the most alkaline test that I had had. So I'm going to say that lemon essential oil is actually very slightly alkalizing, which is really neat because it came from a lemon. Hey, look at that. Lemons can have an alkalizing effect. Proof right there if you just take the essential oil. Okay, I'm going to wrap that up. Pretty soon I'll do a video on why it is that something like a lemon, which is very clearly an acid, can have a net alkalizing effect on the body without resorting to magic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Happy foraging.